Diego Mondragon on violin this morning, and Ryman and Tazari on keyboard. Thank you so much for being here, and happy Sunday. We're going to start with our centering song, God is So Good. If you'd like to sing, please do.
Good morning. I didn't expect a response. My name is Gary Crutchley. I'm a practitioner intern here at the center. It's my pleasure to be your host today, and what we'd like to do is get started now. Thanks for coming out in the rain. The attendance is a little light today, but that's fine. Hopefully you're online watching.
Let us come together. Let us just sit in the silence of this beautiful room. This is our sanctuary. I know that God is present. I absolutely know this to be true, for there is no place where God is not. And I invite you to just embrace the quiet, the beauty of this moment. I know that all is good, for all is God. And I invite us to just be so grateful for the beautiful rain that we have last night and today. My prayer is that this rain continues gentle, soft. And let us just remember and let us bless each person who has been affected by the fires. I know that God's love and strength and power surrounds each of these individuals. I know that each individual is protected and loved, and that these communities will be rebuilt, for God is at the very center. And I know that this service today just unfolds perfectly, with unlimited possibilities. We're so blessed today to have Reverend Sarah with us. I know that her message today will touch each of us in that very special way that touches our hearts.
and I know that the music unfolds beautifully. And so together, let us just know. Let us just know that God is love, and God is here. God is now. God is forever. I let it go, and I let it be, and so it is.
Thank you, Pam. You're welcome. I'd like to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. My wife and I have been members for quite a number of years now. I think maybe it might be 20. And we've seen things change, and I'm so pleased with what's going on now. We're based on science of mind, which is not necessarily a religion, but a belief system, started by Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes back in the 1920s. It's a philosophy where he studied all religions and gathered knowledge from all and realized that there is a common thread through all religions, through all people. And he based his book, Science of Mind, on this. It's a wonderful reading. As a practitioner intern, we've gone into this, we've studied and taken many classes, and I recommend everyone, if you get a chance, please take a class and allow yourself to be enlightened on how we believe. It's such a wonderful way to live your life and deal with everyone. We're so blessed on that. I'd like to invite to welcome everyone online too. The rain seems to have kept maybe a few people away, so hopefully you're online watching and you'll be part of this ceremony today. And I know, as Pam said, it's going to turn out wonderfully. I'd like you all now to maybe stand for our community song, led by Kate, Ryman, and Diego.
Thank you, Gary. So today we're going to sing Living in Grace, and this is our last week singing this. We're going to change our community song next week. That's right. So let's sing it loud and proud.
We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. 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 You sound so beautiful. All right.
Well, thank you, Kate, and our wonderful band. Isn't that beautiful? We are so blessed. Well, for today's reading, this is from this wonderful little book written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, This Thing Called You. And it has just precious, precious readings in it. So what I invite you to do right now is to mention to yourself something that you wish to bring into your experience. Think it over for a moment so that you have a clear idea of it and say, I know that everything in my experience is working together to bring this about. I am filled with confidence, with expectancy of good. I know that this particular thing is transpiring in the invisible at this very moment, and that it will become a part of my visible experience. Everything within me accepts this. Expectancy speeds progress. Therefore, live in a continued state of expectancy. No matter how much good you are experiencing today, expect greater good tomorrow. Expect to meet new friends. Expect to meet new and wonderful experiences. Try this magic of expectancy, and you will soon discover a dramatic side to your work which gives full vent to constructive feeling. It makes life a game that is a joy to play. It enables you to enter into the spirit of things and of people. Today and every day, I expect good. I anticipate meeting new friends. I joyously anticipate contacting new situations which will increase my livingness. My life is an adventure. I know that wonderful things are going to happen to me. I know that everything I do shall turn into good for myself and for others. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our first featured song. This is called Sparrows. I heard this a couple weeks ago. It was just kind of came onto my algorithm. And I really liked it. I think Ryman's falling in love with it too, so.
I'm still.
Maybe not so much.
That is beautiful.
The sparrow's not worried about tomorrow or the troubles to come. The lily's not thinking about the seasons, the drought or the flood. The tree that's planted by the water isn't fazed by the fire. So why should I be? 'Cause you take good care of me. You take good care of me. You know what I need before I even ask a thing. You hold me in your hands with the kindness that never ends. I'm carried in your love no matter what the future brings. You take good care of me. The sun's not worried about the winter, 'cause soon it will pass. The light's not thinking about the darkness or the shadow it casts. A heart that's planted in forgiveness doesn't dwell in the past. So why should I be? Sing it with me. 'Cause you take good care of me. You take good care of me, yeah. You know what I need before I even ask a thing. You hold me in your hands with the kindness that never ends. I'm carried in your love no matter what the future brings. You take good care of me. take good care of me. You take good care of me. Yeah, you know what I need before I even ask a thing. And you hold me in your hands with the kindness that never ends. I'm carrying your love no matter what the future brings. You take good care of me.
All right. I think Diego ended up liking that.
Thank you, Pete, Ryan, and Diego. For someone who didn't really know or like the song, I think you did really well. Thank you very much. There's one thing I'd like to say before we go on. There's one person I think I'd like to have stand up right now. It happens to be her birthday today. Susan Hurst. Please stand. Let's sing. And who else? Carol, stand up too. Two birthdays. Let's sing happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Susan. Happy birthday to you. Okay, now it's my pleasure to invite up Reverend Sarah Adams, and I've got a bio on her. She said she kept it short, so we'll see. Sarah Adams is a licensed minister with Centers for Spiritual Living and was a licensed practitioner for over 10 years before that. She was raised in Science of Mind, and some of her favorite memories were attending youth religious science teen camps and being one of the founding members of Agape's teen group. As an adult, Sarah spent her early professional life building bridges and roads. As an Army engineer, and then later became an educator, and has been a school leader for close to 20 years. Wow. She's not old enough, 20 years. She has a master's in teaching as well as a master in consciousness studies. She has a passion for people and building community, believing every being has a unique gift and life path that supports greater and greater revelations of truth. Her mission is to live a life awakened to the consciousness behind all forms, with an ear to that still small voice, a heart for our shared humanity, and an eye for the universal art of transformation unfolding as each of us. So please welcome Sarah Adams.
I was saying you need to read it all. But thank you for that warm welcome. I appreciate it. It's been a little while since I've been here, so I'm happy to be back. And it's just always wonderful to be in community. You know, wherever we are, whatever's happening in the world, it's such a gift. So thank you for showing up and how you do. Yeah, so I appreciate that. Good to be here for you. So what a great topic this month, and really to start the year off, is to really focus on infinite possibilities. What can we live into? What can we turn towards rather than focusing on what's hard and difficult? So I think it's a wonderful invitation, and you know, letting us consciously participate with the universe and really consciously tune in and stand in that loving intelligence that wants to show itself and flow through us and be as only it can be as each of us in our own unique way, in our own little, suchness of the universe, And, it's a way for us to think about and shift our thinking into seeing, like, what else could be true? what else could be possible? What else is there? And I think, and sometimes it can be hard. You know, there's a lot happening right now in the world. I was listening to something the other day, and I heard about this study that NASA did. These researchers, I think this is back in the 70s, and they were concerned about like the ongoing, I don't know, maybe the space program or something, and wanting to make sure there was enough creative genius in the world. So they did a research study to see what percent of adults have this creative genius. And the research showed that only 2% of adults had this creative genius. And so then one researcher decided to try with children, and they researched and studied for children, and they found 98% had creative genius. So, what happens between like being 4 and 5 with like, life is all about possibility, right? Nothing could be untrue. I mean, there's a whole, anything could be possible. Santa Claus, tooth fairies, you know, all sorts of woodland nymphs, anything could be possible. And then somewhere along the way, you know, as we grow and we go through our human experience, things start to impact us, and we remember that, and we feel fear and worry about that. And that's human. I think that's entirely okay. Because, you know, it's funny, it's two sides of the same coin. For something to be possible, for us to live into infinite possibilities, means it has to be beyond what we know. So there has to include an element of uncertainty. But uncertainty is, the very definition of anxiety is uncertainty. Like, because I don't know, I feel fear about that. But I have to not know in order for it to open up to something more than what I have right here. It has to be able to be something beyond what I can see and know and control. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I love a good plan. I love to know how everything's going to come out, right? So, you know, we get impacted by our circumstances, by the histories and the traumas and the memories that shape our beliefs and actions. And that's how we get to where sometimes we get into that limited, small space. And Ernest Holmes didn't deny the condition, but he said when we heal what's inside, then our conditions outside change. He said we do not deny the evidence of any experience, because experience is the only means by which we may affirm that we live at all. For without experience, there can be no life. We do emphatically state that any experience which is less than harmonious, less than the eternal fact, is an unnecessary condition. I mean, I am exquisitely aware of some unnecessary conditions right now. Is anybody else aware of some unnecessary conditions happening in the world or in our life? Yeah. So let's breathe into that we can shift and be present to that. We can be present to that. We have to really reveal before we can heal, right? We have to be able to see and know what's here before we can actually heal it and transform it and transcend it. So that's what I want to talk about today is, and this is what I'm about really in my ministry, is how can we take what we know intellectually and theoretically and bring it into the very hardest part of being human? How can we bring it into the very moment of fear, of worry, of what's hard about being human, so we can heal and awaken to something greater than, so we can be free and continue to experience greater and greater degrees of freedom in our human experience. So I was listening to this podcast interview with Martha Beck, and she's a self-help guru and author and speaker, and she's recently wrote a book about beyond anxiety, curiosity, creativity, and finding your life's purpose. And I think she has a really practical way of shifting from the anxiety, shifting from the fear into creativity and possibility. She talked first about the brain, and we know how our brains work, and I think it's important for us to consciously know that so that we can see what's happening in the moment. Because like we said, we have this human body, we have this human brain, these structures that we were born into. And so we get to play with that when we know how it works. And so she talked about the right and the left hemisphere. She talks about it as maybe servant and master, that the left hemisphere has some gifts of being linear thinking and doing analysis and fact-finding, and time and space and limitation or constraint. The right hemisphere is about creativity and imagination and possibilities and color and, timelessness, connection. So it really needs to be that the right brain can be the master, and the left brain can then, the right brain can imagine all these possibilities, and then the left part of our brain can go and make it happen and engineer it and work through all the details of it. But to even get to that part, we have to be able to calm our brain, calm our mind. Sometimes when I do trainings at school, I'm a school, like I said, school leader. We talk about this image of like our brain being like a fist, and like this stem is here, and like the frontal cortex and all the good stuff that's up here. But back here is this little amygdala that kind of like, it's the gatekeeper. And if we're in flight or fight or freeze, it flips our brain. We can't get to any of that good stuff because it's cut off. None of that, we can't even reach that part. So we really have to find ways to calm and settle and let that fear, that fight or flight kind of calm down, and then we can access all the great capacities that we have. So, humans being human, I think every mammal, every animal feels fear, but humans are the ones that hang on to it and create anxiety. Like, we remember it, we create a story about it, we make meaning from it, we go on the whole rabbit hole about it. So how it could have been worse, what's going to happen again, maybe there's a bigger monster under the bed, like what will happen again, and then we get spun up in that. But if you think about an animal, like maybe imagine a kitten, a scared kitten that's like on your doorstep and they're afraid. How do you calm that fear in that little scared kitten? What do you normally do? You approach it with softness, with reassuring voice to say like, I've got you, I've got you. You get down its level, you get present, you get to be kind and gentle. So you think about that, like what that can do to us. How can we do that to ourselves? How can we be present to what's happening right there? How can we be kind and gentle? Maybe how can we have some compassion for ourselves? And that compassion, that listening, that presence helps transcend the fear and helps kind of release the trigger and brings us back down into our compassion and our thinking and our creativity and our ability to imagine infinite possibilities. When we relax, and we can move into that upstairs consciousness, that upstairs brain. So this is the first part of Martha's method. It's an acronym called CAT, C-A-T. The first is calm, and I'm going to add compassion to that. The next is A, is art, and then the third is T, transformation. So I'm going to talk about the calm part first, like recognizing our human condition in the moment, and what can we do to be present to that? What can we do to allow ourselves to be able to get through our limited thoughts? And Ernest Holmes says, for those who have always dwelt on limited thoughts, a good practice is to dwell upon the magnitude of the infinite, the magnitude of the universe. But we can't get there if we're shut down. So being a compassionate witness allows us to settle into that place, just like thinking about ourselves as being that scared little kitten, like what can we do to approach it with kindness and gentleness? On the other hand, if we're trying to reason it or judge it or criticize it, I don't know about you all, but I certainly have that voice that can say you shouldn't be worried about this. Why are you spinning about this? And I can get in the judgment of it. I think about a friend I have, and this friend is, her worrying brain, her what if machine is next level. I mean, next level. And I've noticed that when I try to talk to her, and sometimes she can imagine the most improbable, ridiculous scenarios. And I try to reason to say that just won't happen. That's just, and I try to give all the reasons why. That does not help. I don't know if any of you have had a partner where you try to reason and explain why they're being so ridiculous in the moment and why their fears are just ridiculous. That does not help, right? It's not. And if we talk to ourselves like that, it certainly doesn't help. So that first step of us getting to the infinite possibility is really having some compassion that allows us to calm and settle down and be with whatever's happening. And from the research I've studied, from mindfulness research to somatic therapy research to trauma response, everything shows that in the presence of a listening person or some sort of aspect of listening and being with, that is the thing that heals trauma, is being able to be with something. Not with judgment, not with criticism, not with trying to rationalize it out or validate it. I mean, just validating and just being present and compassion. That's really what helps heal trauma and helps de-escalate and bring down a trauma response. So that starts with us. So where can we start with compassion and listening to ourselves and being present, as if we were that scary little kitten that needs just to have a moment and to have some space and grace. But the next thing she says that I think is really powerful is the next part, which she says A for her little cat acronym, art. It's really shifting into creativity. Once we're calm, we can shift into that space. And she says, instead of asking, what am I going to do? She says, shift into, what am I going to make? I thought, what a powerful question to ask in that moment. Instead of, I think, what am I going to do, kind of shifts into that worrying, that trying to control, and it's kind of a fear-driven energy. What am I going to make shifts into really standing in the power of the creativity of the universe. Like it's a creative energy. It's a forward, it's action. It's something that's moving into like me having agency and being able to act and be something. Who am I here to be in this moment? Ernest Holmes talks about the love being that the universe is the result of its self-contemplation of God, and that the universe is love. It's the self-givingness through creation. That creation is the universe's self-givingness of itself through loving itself as each person, as each expression. So thinking about shifting into compassion, shifting into loving kindness really actually opens us up to being a giving presence, a giving space. It shifts us into that creative power of being a contribution for ourselves and for someone else, or for the situation that we find ourselves in. Studying some other parts of compassion, and this other person called Dr. Cortland Dahl. He's a Buddhist scholar, and he's doing some research on what works to reduce anxiety, and he's doing this study through, I think, the University of Wisconsin, and they have this Healthy Minds app. But it's funny, the 4 pillars that they think that they've come up with to help move into a positive space and reduce anxiety, I think like parallel scientific mind treatment, like affirmative prayer, like exactly. Like they talk about first is awareness, which we have that awareness that there's an infinite presence, a love intelligence that's everywhere. And it talks about connection, it's their second pillar, which is like we say we're one with that, we're unified with that, we belong to that. Then they talk about insight as their third part. We realize that there's something that we can do with this. I thought, well, how wonderful. So the other thing I thought he talked about with compassion, he talked about an interesting shift or discernment between empathy and compassion. I think this is important for us when we're shifting into this creative space of infinite possibility. It was important to be mindful of empathy and compassion. Empathy was like really putting ourselves in someone's shoes, feeling what the pain is, like the scared kitten, feeling the fear of that, the terror of that, and having empathy because we can imagine what that feels like. But that also we can get stuck in that. The difference with compassion is then from that place, moving into compassion is then shifting into like, again, who am I here to be? What can I make? What action can I take in the face of that? Where it's a positive and engaging presence. And he said it's 2 different parts of the brain actually, and that we're in a compassionate part of our brain. It's also connected to the rewards part of our brain, and it actually feels we feel more engaged. We feel more. Let's see. He said it feels nourishing and positive. It activates the brain's parts that are active. It's not like a passive, fluffy state of mind. It's a highly engaged state that we're willing and we're ready to do whatever we need to do in the situation that we're called to do. So, and we can practice this with our spiritual practices. So something I think, certainly back to Science of Mind treatment, is that when we're in that compassionate place, the actions that we can take, it may not be that we're taking a big physical action in the moment, just having a prayer, knowing something for the other person, knowing something for ourselves, is an action, is a creative space, is an act of art, is moving us into that, standing into that place of possibility. So even in the midst of a challenge, once we've calmed ourselves down, our act of creativity can just be knowing a prayer, can just be holding space, knowing that there's something here that's greater, affirming that there's greater truth, or even being willing to be open to that truth. We may not be able to see it in a moment, but maybe we can imagine it. And that's a really powerful place that ushers us into infinite possibilities. In the midst of whatever may be difficult, it's and once we make that shift, that's the third part of her CAT, C-A-T, is transcend. then we've become a powerful place of possibility. We've transcended the limiting condition. We've transcended the fear or the anxiety or the worry. We're being present to it. We're not bypassing it. We're being exquisitely aware of the unnecessary condition, right? We know and we feel impacted by what's happening, but we can shift once we're calm. We can shift and purposely, consciously, intentionally stand in a place of creativity. And prayer is an absolutely perfect place to be in a creative place of possibility. When we calm ourselves and we shift, then we can think, what action can I take? I can think about empathy versus, compassion. I had a situation at school the other day where I heard about a student. There's many campuses all over in my organization, and I heard about a student that wasn't coming to school at one of our campuses because when they called and asked her mom why, her mom said, I'm a migrant worker and I'm really scared and I don't want to leave the house. And so this little girl hasn't been able to go to school in a week. And so at first I felt the empathy, like, what is it to feel that fear of not knowing what's going to happen to myself or to my daughter? But then it could shift, and even just in that moment, shifting to prayer and shifting to knowing that may you be safe, may you be, the metta prayer, may you be well, may you be free. And then shifting to what is mine to do? Can I educate? Can I send something out? Can I work with people to know what their rights are, that what's protected, what they, that they're not subject to search unless there's a warrant, that schools aren't allowed to give out information, that we're safe places, that all students have access and have the right to education. What is mine to do? So that's the part I invite you to do is where can you be present to what's happening, calm, shift, and even just shifting to prayer and knowing something, opening up what could be possible in this moment. The other part I would say is in this transcending our conditions and these unnecessary conditions into something greater, is even if we can't see it, we can imagine it. What would it feel like? We may not know, our left brain may not know how to pencil in all the lines and make all the plans, even though it wants to. Mine really wants to. But, there's so much more than I can design, right? I have a limited, and I think, we're human. We have our own limited perspective. I can think of another situation at school where when I was a principal, there are some very challenging behaviors, I will just say, in the last 5 or 10 years. It seems to have gotten a lot worse, I will just say. So this one student, cute little guy, darling, but his nervous system was not on track with the physical reality around us, and things would just trigger him, and it triggered to the way he would just have these explosive moments, and his body would just need to tear stuff apart, and the classrooms would get torn over and desks thrown, and then he would dash out the door and run, like he's gonna run into the street or something. And for me, I was always on edge trying to figure out how can I help this kid, and it was so frustrating and so exhausting day after day, and I just got so tired. And I remember one night just thinking oh, it's another day, I don't know how I'm gonna handle this kid, and I feel like I've exhausted every possible thing I know of. And then somehow, literally by the grace of God, I realized I don't have to know everything. I am not the only mind in our infinite universe. There are other ideas and possibilities that I can't even imagine, but I could be open to knowing what that could be. I could be open to something else coming forward. So in that situation, I just had to turn it over. So that's what I will end with, and knowing that love leads us through the fear. Love lets us calm ourselves down, and then love lets us open up to what could be possible. That leads us to something greater, letting the love of the universe move through us. And what does it want to show up as us? In this case, I was able to talk to my boss, and we got different resources and more help on campus. I was able to cultivate a different relationship with the parents. I was able to, together we came up with other solutions from our whole team. And then eventually this student, he got to be where he could be in class all day. He could be a joyful student again. He could sit in the gym when we had our assemblies and all the noise and the stimulation around, and he could just be part of it and not be completely triggered by it. But I had to allow something more than myself. I had to imagine what it would feel like to have that be different. I could imagine what the outcome could be, even though I didn't know how we were going to get there. And that's the prayer. That's the, like, living into the infinite possibility. Can I let myself surrender, give myself some compassion, open up to what else could be for me, what else could come forward, and then just imagine and live into that. And then let the universe, let the divine intelligence move us in the way that it needs to do to get there, even though we don't know how that is. So that's why I invite you. So where in your life can you think of something that may feel challenging, that you may not have an answer for, that there may be no way that you can figure out how to pencil in the lines and design and control how it's going to be? Is there a place where you can have some compassion for yourself? Is there a place where you can surrender and let something bigger, maybe praying, and not just praying, it is a powerful tool. Allow yourself to imagine, even if you don't know what it would look like, how would it feel? How can you embody what that would feel like when you have that outcome? Would it feel peaceful? Would it feel free? Would it feel enlivened? Would it feel thriving? Would it feel abundant? How would it feel in your body? And then give thanks for that, knowing that that is an infinite possibility that you are living into, and that you are letting the universe move through you and move through all the people in your purview, all the people in your experience together to create that reality. And that's what we're here to do. Like, we're not only here for our own transformation, right? We're here for our collective, our community transformation. So the more that we can do that and heal ourselves and be a presence of open possibility, that automatically creates more possibilities for everyone in our experience. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend Sharon. What a wonderful talk. I think she encapsulated what we believe and how we feel in her talk. So I think it might behoove you to go back and look at it online and kind of digest it. I mean, there was a lot of information here. Thank you very much. That was good. We now have our second song with Kate, Ryman, and Diego, and they will bless us with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. We've been exploring some songs by Daniel Amod, who we just love. So today we're going to try a new one called Everything New. As always, feel free to sing with me. Bring it on, everything new. Everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally heard, bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving and I'm through dreaming, and like the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know
we're gonna rise again. So bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. We are ready for the next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new.
We're so blessed to have the music team that we do. Kate, Ryman, and Kate. Thank you guys so much. It's now time for our blessing and offering. I'd like to invite up our ambassadors, Holly and Angelica, formerly known as Kat.
Or both. Either one. Either one works.
And know that this is a time to give. To give back to the center that so fulfills and enriches our lives. To help pay for the music and the lovely talks we have from the speakers. And for Reverend Shar and all she does for us. It's time to give and to know that when you give, it comes back to you. It comes back to you tenfold. The power of donation, 10% giving, 10% times 10 is 100, so you get 100 back. That's as simple as it is. And know that you're giving from your heart. You're helping not only the center here, but the community and everyone that we have. So now please join us in our affirmation of abundance. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source, joy is my power, joy gives me everything that I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, joy gives me everything I need. How about love? Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, love gives me everything I need.
And now it's time for announcements. Would Alana please come forward?
Good morning. Good morning. Let's see what we've got going on. The CSLTV Book Club will be starting a new book on February 5th. They're in the process of choosing a new book now. They're also meeting for a group lunch this Wednesday at Chili's Restaurant to kick off the next group. Please contact Ann Woodward for more information or see the sign-up sheet on activities table. Ann isn't here now.
She's not.
Okay, the Band of Brothers group is again hosting the Super Bowl. Soup. Or we are collecting canned goods to donate in early February to the Mission Hope of Temecula to support our local families and food pantries. Please bring those unexpired canned goods. Let's beat our total from last year. We are currently over 600 pounds of canned goods. Let's get to a ton.
All right.
CSL will be offering our annual Vision Board Workshop with practitioner Beth Haas on Sunday, February 2nd from 1 to 4 p.m. Mark your calendars for this popular workshop, which is a very powerful spiritual practice. What does your vision hold for you this year? Come to the workshop and find out. Sign up sheet on the activity table. I think we need some positive visions this year.
Yes.
We are celebrating all things CSLTV on Sunday, February 16th. We will be hosting a volunteer appreciation luncheon with a taco truck. If you are a beloved volunteer at the center, ambassador, coordinator, youth, and family, announcing hospitality, spirit, and service, please come and let us celebrate you. We'll also be celebrating CSLTV's 30th year anniversary with photos from way back and coming together in the social hall to share stories of all wonderful times we have experienced together right here. And my book is coming along, out soon. So it is.
Reverend Sarah, is going to come up and do the flow.
Oh, great, thank you. Okay, so let's just take a breath of all this goodness, all the energy, all the vibration of love and community, and know and affirm that we are spiritual evolutionaries. We are standing in the infinite possibility that the universe is living and loving and knowing itself right where we are in the midst of every condition, every circumstance. God is good, God is here, God is expressing with the highest and best good. Yes, yes, thank you. And so it is.
And I'd like the practitioners to please stand. We're here. Any practitioner interns we have that are here, please stand. And know that these are the healing force of our center. This is where you go when you want more of something, when you want less of something, if you just want to be who you are. Go see them. You can see them in the breezeway. You can make an appointment. I belonged to this center for 10 years or more, never saw a practitioner. I think it's one of the biggest regrets that I have, is not seeing a practitioner. Reverend Sharon in her talk encapsulated what it is they do for you. So please see these people in the breezeway, or like I said, make an appointment. So I'd like to close now and thank you all for coming, to thank our band for the wonderful music, and to invite you all to join us in the social hall for some relaxation, for some food, as we go out and celebrate our day today. Bless the rain and everyone that's here. So,
Thank you, Gary. You are just such a natural. Okay, let's sing together.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Again, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on, no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Beautiful week. We'll see you in the social hall.
Thanks so much for coming.